What's up, Facebook and YouTube, and live every day at 12:30. We come on here every weekday at 12:30. We come on here to work on your health, to work on your mindset, your movement patterns through exercise, your nutrition. Today we're talking about nutrition. We're talking about the 17. I'm really gonna throw an 18 on you. The 17 lies that you have to know, that you have to challenge, that have been pushed into your mind as fact that you need to get rid of. You need to push past these challenges, and you need to make sure that you're not living by these, because a lot of people are, and it's messed up. The nutrition industry is big business, and they're just absolutely preying on people's like how gullible they are. You know, people want to believe just about anything. They'll believe just about anything you tell them in the nutrition game because they want to believe it. They want thing is going to get them where they want to go, but that thing is not usually the answer. Back in the 70s, I should have gotten them out. Back in the 70s, they used to actually have pamphlets and books and things that were used to try to get people to eat more high fructose corn syrup. To literally, like, they would have bottles of it, and they said that if you took an extra tablespoon and you had that high fructose corn syrup, that it was somehow good for you. It's a little different than today, right? You know, we're not telling people that today. So it's a totally different world. Now, you're still getting lied to. It's no different than back in the 70s. It's not like we've wised up at all. Everybody's still just as gullible. Everybody's willing to eat the dog shit, to be skinny, to have the six-pack. But I'm going to tell you, the only thing that's actually going to get you there is the discipline, the hard work, and all of the tough stuff. There's no magic pills. There's no magic bullet. There's no nothing. Well, there is a magic bullet. I'm pretty sure that's something. No, the magic bullet is a dirty thing. That's just a blender, isn't it? But if you're coming on here, please share this out. Please go ahead and click that share button, and then also bang on those likes. If you like this video, if you hate this video, you show me angry faces, show me hearts, show me smiles. What on that like, it sends stuff across the screen. I want you to, we want this to be interactive. I don't just want to be sitting here preaching. I want you to talk back. Want your comments. Want you to say hi. Want you to bang on that like button. Want you to share this out. Want to make this a community thing, not just sitting here and me preaching at you the whole time. I don't really want to. That's not what we want this to be. We want this thing so that people can learn. People can they can inspire. Because when I say our mission is inspire the experience of you want to live, it's about you inspiring your own experience. It's about you having the discipline to change your life circumstance to what you want this thing to be. You know, we all get one big life. Whether that's, you know, that you never die and you're immortal, it's still one big life, or once you're done, you're done. Doesn't really matter. But let's get into the lies. The lies aren't too big, you know, like, you know these already. You know, the first one on the list is actually salt. You know, salt is just one of these things that blows my mind, that people really think that salt is bad for you. Salt is not bad for you. That doesn't mean that you get to have, like, you know, a pound, like 5 pounds of salt every single day. You know, too much of anything is not a good thing. But unless you have, like, high blood pressure, or you're hypertensive like that, then, you know, salt is probably fine for you within moderation. And by within moderation, I mean, you can have probably as much salt as you want. Just don't be stupid. You know, salt is not dangerous. It is not bad for you. It is not a poor nutritional choice. The other one, number 2, finish your plate. This is bullshit. You do not have to finish your plate. You do not have to finish your plate. Your mom and your dad just beat that into your head, that you got to finish your plate no matter what. No, you don't. No, you do not have to finish your plate, even though you've been told to your whole life. You do not your plate. The guilt as a motivator is one of the big lies. You know, and this is how this comes out. This comes out because of the finish your plate. There's starving kids in Africa. You know, there might be starving kids but using guilt, that story, as a motivator, so that you finish the food, do what the parent says. That's silly. That's guilt as a motivator. Oh, now I feel guilty, so I'm going to eat. I mean, that's kind of sick on some level, you know? That's sick. But Scott, what's up? Eat until you are satisfied, not until you are full. Yeah, I mean, especially like, yeah, 100%. Like, especially if you're going for health, you're going for wellness, you're going for, you know, a 6-pack, you're going for what that body type, the ideal body type, whatever ideal means. But like, why would you eat until you're just like so massively full that you can't move? You know, it's silly. Yeah, if you guys have other lies that you have heard, other lies that are not in my list, because I'm not going to say, there's the number of lies that the nutrition industry tells you, it's insane. It's insane. So if some of yours are not on this list, go ahead and put them down there. Okay, so this is for pregnant women. Your baby wants you to be fat. That is not accurate whatsoever. It does not want you to gain 100 pounds of fat while you're pregnant with it. You know, there's plenty of research out there right now that wouldn't just suggest, but statistics that show that there's a heavy correlation between diabetes and the fat gain of the mom between pregnancies and during the pregnancy. Your baby does not want you to get fat. That is so stupid. Besides, that baby is inside you and has never gotten exposed to any sort of opinion, has no idea what they are. It is a fetus inside of you. It does not have an opinion yet. It doesn't even know what it wants other than it wants to have nourishment and wants to be warm and cozy in there probably. That's about it, you know? White versus brown rice. What, like, really, like, if you look at these side by side, they're not outrageously different. The glycemic index is about the same. The number of nutrients that are going to go into you, brown versus white, that's a toss-up. You know, the amount of fiber is probably a little bit higher on the brown rice side, but it's so minimal. It's so minimal. It's like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go out and eat shitloads of white rice and that it's better for you than brown rice. I'm saying use your head. They're not really that outrageously different. And I'm going to have a few of these. A normal potato. You know, I personally really like sweet potatoes. I think they taste great. I think they're good for you. I think there's plenty of good things in sweet potatoes. But there is so much pro-sweet potato, regular potato, that it's a little silly. You know, it's a little silly. They, you know, calorically, they're not all that different. Glycemic index, they are quite a bit different. There's just, I don't see the big, huge, you know, why there's so much hate towards the potato and there's so much love for the sweet potato. I don't think that they're that drastically different. White bread versus wheat bread. You know, in the United States, if you're eating wheat bread, it's probably just white bread that got colored differently. That's about it. And even if it is wheat bread versus white bread, their glycemic index is about the same. The nutritional content is about the same. The fiber content is actually about the same. There's not a huge difference between them. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to fight over whether it's white or it's brown. It's a silly argument, you know? It's a lie. It's a bull-faced lie that is just like, it's silly. Like, you're not going to all of a sudden lose a bunch of weight because you went to wheat bread instead of white bread. That won't matter. Whole grains. Whole grains. This is insane. We think, we're told there's on the outside of Cheerio boxes or other cereals, it says whole grain somehow healthy. That doesn't mean it's healthy. That does not mean it's healthy at all. It's a complete lie. The only way, like if you think what a whole grain is, it's like, you know, it's barley and it's plant, it's oats before it's been ground down to be able to put in your oatmeal. It's, you know, it's spilts, it's rye, it's you know, it's all these different grains. That's a whole grain. Cheerios is not a whole grain. Frosted Flakes is not a whole grain. I don't know. Lucky Charms are not whole grains. They probably started as whole grains. They got processed and were willing to eat it. They're junk. They're junk food. Milk as a staple for nutrition. Why? Why would milk be a staple for nutrition? Milk was actually, like, the history of milk is actually really interesting. Milk was was caught on so quickly that within like 2 to 4 generations, basically almost every single person that had an intolerance to milk. You know, milk was so profoundly, it was such a good calorie source that it made people able to survive. If you did not produce the lactase to break down the lactose, you were sick all the time because you were eating, you're drinking dairy or eating cheese. And so you probably didn't, because nobody wanted to have sex with you, basically. And so that means that your genes stopped with you, whereas everybody else that did produce lactase to break down the lactose got to pass on their genes. So within 2 to 4 generations, it was just bang. Everybody in an industrialized nation at the time of when milk took off, ended up to where we are now. So if you're basically, if you're in a area of the world that wasn't as developed, you do have a lot more people that are lactose intolerant. But milk is not absolutely awesome for you. There's no reason to think that, like the whole, I went dairy free. What was that? That was back in like 2008. I went dairy free for 2 months. And before that, I was a huge milk drinker. Huge fan of dairy. And dairy does have some very dairy as a whole. I'll get to that in a second. But everybody that I would tell this to was like, well, where are you getting your calcium? I mean, just because milk has some calcium in there, just because it's white and you think like the color of my bones are white also, that must be the calcium, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only calcium. You can get calcium from broccoli, spinach. You can even get calcium from beef, which gets into the next one. Red meat is not bad for you. This is a lie. Red meat is perfectly fine for you, especially, this goes for milk too, if you're having grass-fed milk and grass-fed beef. Okay, milk, any kind. I would not, like, if I had children, and they were about to drink conventional dairy, I'd probably go and slap that crap right out of their hands. That stuff is junk. You should not touch it. It should not come within any distance of any single person. That stuff is on the edge of poison, and you don't hear me say that about very many things. It is junk. It is absolute junk. Can suck. If you're gonna buy dairy, which I think is fine, dairy's great. Buy grass-fed dairy. If you're gonna buy beef, buy grass-fed beef and you're much better off. The red meat equals bad thing. Like, why? Why is it bad? Tell me why. Most of the time some vegan pops in and tells me some BS story about some documentary that they heard one time that was based off of a survey, not a research study, a survey that is questionable in the beginning. Okay, like not everything vegan is good, which is the vegan thing. Like if you're looking at veganism, like there are, like I am extremely impressed with the whole vegan thing. The whole vegan thing, they're so creative with how they can make different foods and how they can make vegetables work in so many different ways, and fruits the same way. I think it's amazing. It's really super impressive. But you can still have a plant-based diet and still eat animal products. The genius of being vegan has nothing to do with nutrition. The genius, my bad, I said that wrong. The genius of nutrition is just a plethora of plants that they eat. It's amazing. It's not, but like being vegan, being anti-meat is not a good nutritional strategy. Like if you want to be vegan for moral reasons, go for it. Definitely go for it. I'm all for it. I'm like, duh. Like if you want to like stop people from hurting animals, like I'm not going to stand in your way of but don't go sitting there trying to say that it's somehow for your health or for your nutrition. No, it's not. And the same thing with vegetarians. If you're eating a ton of fruits and vegetables, great if you're a vegetarian. But if you're a vegetarian who eats mac and cheese every single night or every single day or every single meal, that's not, if you're a mac and cheese vegetarian, that's not healthy. Don't try to sit here and say, oh, I am a higher being in purpose and such a wonderful because I'm a vegan or vegetarian, even though you just sit around and eat macaroni and cheese every single night. The number 13 is sugar is addictive. This one blows my mind. This absolutely blows my mind. There's no doubt that our brain is excited when we have certain foods like sugar. And there's no doubt that our brain gets super excited when we have certain drugs like cocaine. But comparing these two it's absurd. For one, there's plenty of people that are doing cocaine right here, right now, not right here, right now. I mean, you might think I'm on cocaine in my life. There's plenty of people doing cocaine in the world right now who are not addicted to cocaine. They can put it down, walk away, and never have it ever again without any trouble. You are powerful over your addiction. Your addiction does not have power over you unless you give it that power. Sugar is not addictive by itself. You don't just automatically, oh, you're born, oh, they're addicted to sugar. That's how it works. Like for one, you have to build up, you have to work your way into the addiction to be addicted to something. And even then, you still have power over it. And even if you have just a little bit of power and it has tons of power over you, you still offset that balance eventually through hard work. We were talking about this earlier when we were talking about some of the things that we were going to write down in here. We were seeing the movie Half-Baked. Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle thinks that he's addicted to marijuana. He can't quit marijuana, even though his girlfriend wants him to quit marijuana. I think you should watch this movie because it's really entertaining. But so Dave Chappelle goes in front of everybody and says that he is addicted to marijuana. Bob Saget is playing the actor who stands up. This character gets up and gets it mad at him and says that marijuana isn't a drug. And he goes, have you ever done cocaine? And he says that he was addicted to cocaine. And then he asked Dave Chappelle, maybe I shouldn't even say it on here, but he says, have you ever sucked dick for marijuana? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's what he says in the movie. And the thing is, like, has anybody ever done that for sugar? I doubt it. You are not addicted to sugar. It's ridiculous. This is like I'm addicted to sugar and that's why I can't put the muffin down. Give me a break. That's stupid. People who are big boned, all of us have about the same level of skeleton. Like some of us are longer, some of us are taller, some of us bigger, and like you can't deny like length of skeletal tissue. However, people don't just if your arm is like this big around, there's no way that your bone is clear out to there. Like big bone is a lie. It's not real. And that goes into are you always going to be big? No, there is absolutely why anybody would just always be big. You can always lose the weight to come down to a healthy level. A gallon of water a day, total lie. And fruit equals fat. Yeah. There's a few studies that came out that suggested that fructose, the sugar that's in fruit, turns into fat easier than other sugars do. However, it's a kind of a moot point. It's like, are you going to stop eating so that you are gonna not gain fat from the fructose? That's silly. Fruit is extremely good for you. Like emotional eating really is the next one. Emotional eating really has very little to do with food. Emotional eating is actually more of a mindset thing than it is a food thing. If you have the truth that you're not enough to have what you want, you'll create a story to validate that truth. So if you think that you're the fat person in the room, and you've lost, you're going to end up sabotaging your own results because you'll reach for that. You'll create like an emotional disposition to be able to bring yourself to have the muffin that you feel guilty for, and you feel another emotion. So you want to feel better about it, so you go and you grab another thing and you feel better about that for a little bit. So it's just it asphyxiates the guilt or the anger or the anxiety that you have for a shorter period of time, but then it runs out. You grab another one, another one, another one, another one. Then you end up getting a fight with somebody because you have all these emotions going on, and then because of that you go and you have more junk food, and then pretty much you sabotage your own results and you get fat again. You create the story to validate the truth that you have in your mind. That's more of what emotional eating actually does. And then the last one, number 18 on here, candy at work to pep yourself up. This is something that I do. I'm aware that this is a little hardcore. And if you agree with this, Let me know in the comments if you disagree with this. But if I walk into a business and the receptionist is chewing on a piece of candy, or I see a candy desk behind the counter, I walk out. I refuse to do businesses that will allow this kind of crap inside there. Your employees do not get, any employee, you included, you do not get a pep up from eating extra. You know what I mean? You don't get amped up because you ate some sugar. It's stupid. It's pathetic, and you need to get rid of it. You are not doing anybody in your office any favors by doing this. Having a candy jar at work is ridiculous, especially in today's day and age. I mean, like, if we were all walking around at a healthy weight and we could all moderate and we could all maintain, you know, then maybe. But that's not the way. And you are a professional, and you're gonna be slopping around some piece of hard candy in your mouth. Spit that crap out. Don't be talking to me with that stuff in your mouth. I never get in people's face about this. I just leave. I refuse to do business with somebody who is willing to sit there with crap in their mouth while they're talking to me. Yeah, are there any in here that you guys just super disagree, super agree with, or any that I've missed? You know, we've got salt, finish your plate, guilt is a motivator, saying like, there's starving kids in Africa. Your baby wants you to get fat. That's such crap. You know, white versus brown rice, potato versus sweet potato, white bread versus wheat bread, whole grains, which is just a hilarious concept. Milk is somehow great for you when it's really not. You know, if it's grass-fed milk, it is perfectly good. It has a lot of CLA. It doesn't have a lot of the other junk. But, I mean, you're like, I almost said tapping the teat, which maybe took, anyway, I already said it. So, but you're just getting, like, all of that crap, all the hormones and everything that they are giving. I don't think that you're getting a ton of that when you eat the meat. I think you're getting a ton of that when you drink the milk, though. I mean, think of what milk is there for. It's to, like, pass on to the cat. Red meat is not bad for you. Vegan is not necessarily nutritious. Being vegetarian doesn't make you a better person. Sugar doesn't have to be addictive. It can have addictive qualities and you not be addicted to it. You are big boned. Nobody is. If anybody's big boned, it's me. I'm 6'4". That means I got long bones, okay? Not big bones, long bones. Nobody's big boned. A gallon of water a day is not nutritious. It is not anything. It is junk. It is garbage information. Really what happens there is your body can get so overwhelmed with water that it's trying to get rid of it, and it ends up in your lungs, it ends up in your brain, it messes everything up, and pretty soon you're dead, all right? Emotional eating has very little to do with food, and candy at work to pep you up is absolute crap. You're making that stuff up so that you can grow into the fat person that you think you are, which is not accurate either. It is not the objective reality, and you got to push through and make sure that that's not what you actually believe about you, which is subconscious stuff. But guys, bang on that like button if you like anything that's going here. Bang on that like button. Bang on the share button. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you've heard so far that you agree with or disagree with. I like that. That's cool when that happens. I like it when you guys send those across. I get to see your face for just a couple of seconds, and then it goes. But yeah. Brent's actually watching this in real time right over there. Bam, bam, bam. Thanks, guys. Keep hitting that. Keep hitting that. Oh, an angry face. Ooh, an angry face. Ooh, an O face. And a heart. Look at this. Look at this. Go. I think these are... Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about salt? What do you think about finishing your plate? Do you have to finish your plate every single time? You know, do you think because there's starving kids in Africa that you all of a sudden have to get fat because of it? Does that make a lot of sense? What about if you're pregnant? Does your baby want you to turn into this huge, you know, body? Like, does it? I don't know. To me, like, in my opinion, no, that's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. What about bread versus wheat bread? What about white rice versus brown rice? Is one actually that much better than the other? What about sweet potatoes versus regular potatoes? You know, like, I personally like sweet potatoes, but I don't think they're a ton better for me than the regular potato. You know, is milk all of a sudden just somehow nutrition that makes me a super person? No. No, it does not, and you do not need it to have strong, healthy bones, strong, healthy teeth. I don't know, like how are my teeth? I don't know. All 4 of these front teeth are completely fake. Almost, they're about halfway up, they're fake. You know, I drink a gallon of milk every day for a large portion of my life. Does that all of a sudden mean that my teeth are stronger than everybody else's? They're half fake. Is red meat bad for you? And why? Why do you think red meat's bad for you? It's not. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly good for you. Does vegan have anything to do with being nutritious? You know, to me, being vegan is a moral thing. It has nothing to do with being nutritious. Being vegetarian, if you're a mac and cheese vegetarian, you're an idiot. Sugar is not addictive. It can have addictive qualities and you not be addicted to it. You know, if you have that much trouble putting a muffin down, you need to look at your discipline. You don't need to look at that muffin. Things do not happen to you. They happen because of you. And if they happen to you and you use language like that, that means you're putting yourself in the victim category. And it's completely unnecessary. You know, being big boned is like, can we just let that one rest? I don't even want to reread it. A gallon of water a day, stop it. Stop drinking a gallon of water a day. You do not need a gallon of water a day. That's absolutely ridiculous. You could get really sick off of that. You need to knock it off. The way that I do it is I do an eighth of your body weight first thing in the morning. And we're only going to do that for maybe a month to 2 months. And then by then we basically have built a relationship between thirst and our body, like how our body feels thirst versus how our body feels hunger. You know, that's what's really going on there. Does fruit make you fat? It does if you have too much of it, just like anything else. You have too much of it, it makes you fat, you know? But fruit is great for you. It's silly. If you want to try a really good fruit, to renegotiate your taste buds, to be a good barometer for how your body, you know, it's got a lot of fiber. It's very airy, so you feel more satiated. Try dragon fruit. It's a fun one. It looks pretty crazy. It's the pink one with little leafy things coming off of it. But emotional eating has very little to do with food. Emotional eating is much more exactly what it sounds like. It's an emotional thing. I don't think you carry your emotions here. I think you carry your emotions here. You are in control of what goes on upstairs. Candy at work, get that crap out of there. If you're a business owner and you're watching this, or you're an employee, which is pretty much everybody, either you're a business owner or you're an employee. If you're an employee, send this to your business owner and get that crap out of your mouth. It's ridiculous. You should not be chewing on, if you're a professional, you should not be chewing on some hard candy, slapping it around, smacking it across your teeth while you're talking to somebody. I don't care if you need a pep up. It is not going to pep you up. No dragon fruit. I thought you liked it, Joanne. I really like dragon fruit. The first time I had dragon fruit, I thought this stuff, I heard it on Food Network, like this is a delicacy and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I tried dragon fruit. I was like, this stuff is boring. It's bland. I don't taste anything. Second time I tried dragon fruit, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a little bit better. The third time I tried dragon fruit, I was like, I really like this. And that's basically how your tongue works. You know, if you're a parent and you're trying to get your kid to eat, encourage them to try it 3 times. If you try it 3 times, there is such thing as acquired taste. So your taste buds have a relationship with your mind, or with your brain, not your mind, your brain. Those are 2 separate things. Your mind is a little different than your brain. Your brain, I'm talking the anatomical portion up here. Your brain needs to be able to understand what's going on with the taste buds. So you have to negotiate those. So when you have certain foods, you're creating a relationship, an experience up here. So if you have a good experience on one food, you're probably gonna like that food. You have a bad experience, like you puke after you eat corn and you see the corn. You're probably not gonna like corn for a while. You know, I dealt with this. I puked one time when I was a really little kid. I didn't like to this day, if you gave me canned corn, I'd be like, nah, save it. I don't like it. I am like the least picky person ever. But I'll eat the corn now. But your taste buds and your brain have to create that. And so when you give yourself a new food, you have to, the first time, you're just not going to get much out of it because your brain doesn't know what's going on. It's like, oh, this is a new taste. I don't know what to do with it. You know, it's the same thing as if you're eating McDonald's foods like Doritos or sodas or any of this stuff. It's hyper taste. It's engineered to excite your taste buds. And so your brain just goes crazy, right? And so then if you have that enough, that becomes your norm. That becomes your norm. And then when you go back down to regular food, you're like, well, this sucks. You know, it's like the people who get depressed after they've been on like ecstasy and cocaine and Adderall and stuff like that for too long. They get really depressed after they've been on these drugs. Well, no wonder they get depressed. Life was pretty awesome when they were on those drugs. It was amazing, you know? And then you come back down to regular life. When this is your norm and you come back down to regular life would suck. I'd probably be depressed ttoo. But yeah, those are my 18. Scott put in an extra one that I thought was really good. You know, you eat until you're full. Don't eat until you're full. Just eat until you're satisfied. You know, and a lot of people don't have that, don't recognize that satisfied thing fast enough. They're like, they keep pushing through it. You know, and some of that is your habits around food. You know, how were you brought up around food? Finish your plate. That's crap. There's starving kids in Africa. Sure, there might be, but does you getting fat help the starving kid in Africa? No, it doesn't. So those are my 18. You guys can let me know what you think of it. We're right at a half hour right now. Just I said I'd stop these at a half an hour. So you guys, I really appreciate it. This actually is one of the more attended ones yet. I figured out that you could actually who are here up above. Right there. But I really appreciate it. For all you guys that banged on that like button, it's awesome. It's awesome to see that stuff go across the screen. It means that you're actually listening, that you're here, that you're interacting, you're giving something back, and it's more of an exchange. It's less than me just sitting here preaching at you, which I want this to be a very much a community thing so that more and more and more people can expand their knowledge around nutrition, exercise, mindset, and recovery so they can have the healthiest life possible, because health is the greatest resource in this life. Anybody tries to tell you different than that's full of shit. Without, you can't enjoy your money, you can't enjoy your relationships, and you sure can't enjoy your time. Health is the #1 resource in this life, and you have to build upon it. So we're gonna sign off, but thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.